So I'm wondering, how exactly do I know what students will be assessed on and reported for each grading period? The first thing that I do to find my answer is to look at my curriculum map. From here, I divide my map into my grading periods. In this situation, I am dividing it into semesters. This helps me to have a better idea of my instructional focus for each term. Now I want to look at my summative assessments. I can see that in first semester I am given the DCA for standard RL 1112-1 and am very nearly giving the DCA for standard SL 1112-1. My team has placed these summative assessments where we predict at least 80% of kids will be proficient. This tells me that in first semester I plan to teach these two standards to the level where I would expect most kids to be meeting the standard. These standards will be my priority power standards for first semester and are the ones that I will be collecting my body of evidence on. These standards will also be the ones that are generating the student's grade for first semester. I shouldn't allow the other standards to impact the student's final semester grade since they haven't been taught to the level of meeting the standard yet, according to my map and my team's plan for instruction. It therefore wouldn't be fair to have these scores impact the student's grade since it's reasonable to expect that they haven't met the standard yet since I haven't delivered enough instruction to take them to the proficiency level yet. That doesn't mean I can't be collecting pieces of evidence on these other standards though. I just won't be dedicating as much effort to collecting the full body of evidence around these other standards since I won't be officially reporting on them in first semester. Any evidence that I do happen to collect on these year-long standards will then be synthesized and transferred over to second semester as the initial score for that standard in second semester. So let's look at a standard like RL 1112-10. This is not a standard I am teaching completely or have a summative assessment for in first semester. However, for this standard, my team has decided to collect two pieces of evidence in first semester, just not the full body of evidence necessarily yet. Bob, a student in my class, may have gotten a beginning and an approaching in first semester. I'm not done teaching the standard though. I genuinely don't expect kids to be at the meeting level yet, so I won't let these scores be active to impact the grade in first semester. However, I do want to give Bob credit for working up to the approaching level. So I will look at these two scores and synthesize his current level of understanding. For this kid, I feel like he's at the approaching level. And when I start my grades for second semester, I will enter an assignment and put the score of approaching to start off his body of evidence. By doing this, I am attempting to create more of a year-long body of evidence for these standards and give students credit for their level of achievement in first semester. A complicating factor would be if Bob was transferring classes that semester. In this situation, the PLC would want to have some proactive conversations about how to best share these synthesized scores with one another so the student's accumulated grade thus far can follow him or her. This may look like a common spreadsheet where all students' names and scores can be pasted in. A set time for focused conversations about where students are at with their level of proficiency at the end of the semester, or some other structure that works for your team. The big thing is that since our team decided it was worth collecting evidence on this year-long standard starting in first semester, that we find some system that allows the data to follow the student even if he or she is changing sections. So we have determined our focus for first semester by looking at the standards we have taught and assessed fully and have our summative assessments in first semester. In second semester, we will carry over a synthesized score for any standards we have started instructing, and then we'll continue to collect our body of evidence. If we have standards that we haven't even started teaching yet, we'll treat those like a clean slate and just start collecting our body of evidence once we have started instruction and assessments. So we want to summarize looking at the specific curriculum map. In first semester, I will be collecting my official body of evidence around standards RL 1112-1 and SL 1112-1. These will become the student's grade first semester 1. In second semester, I will look at the student's proficiency level based on any incidental evidence I have collected for standard RI 1112-1, W 1112-4, SL 1112-4, RL 1112-10, RI 1112-10, and L 1112-6. I will transfer over that synthesized proficiency score for each standard as the first assignment in semester 2. I will then collect my complete body of evidence for these standards in the remainder of semester 2. I most likely will not collect much evidence for standards RL 1112-1 and SL 1112-1 since I have taught them to proficiency already and have reported on those standards in first semester. The only exception to this would be if a student hasn't achieved the meeting level yet, in which case best practice would be to continue to provide instruction and opportunities to assess. Realistically, this would mean having MTSS conversations with my team again if the student ends up changing sections so that everyone can be on the same page about our students' needs. Since RL 1112.1 and SL 1112.1 aren't a focus of instruction and assessment in second semester, I probably won't let them impact the grade for that semester. I could document the students' continued progress with inactive scores, though. If I do feel, however, that significant teaching, and therefore also assessing, are needed for these standards for the whole class, then I could collect a body of evidence for everyone and report on them in second semester. The big thing is that we assess what we have focused our instruction on and only report on these skills. If something is not a priority for our instruction and therefore has not been fully assessed, I shouldn't report it. So if you look at your curriculum map, can you identify where your instructional focus lies for each reporting period? Do you know what standards are year-long standards, how to collect evidence on them, and when they will be reported? Have you discussed with your team which standards will be reported in your first reporting period, but then won't be an emphasis and therefore won't be reported on your later reporting periods? All of these are complex questions, and your instructional coaches and curriculum lead supports are happy to help you determine your answers. Don't hesitate to reach out if you have any questions, and have a great day.